Hi, good people. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching me from. Welcome back to Sophia the Life Coach. This is your number one online coaching show. Here we just do life together as we get empowered through learning. I'm Sophia Murunge. I'm excited. I'm happy for this episode today. I want us to reflect on how we grew up, what could have affected us, or what is affecting those children who are growing up nowadays. And I want to talk about childhood trauma. I know it's a bit tricky topic to talk about, or some people do not view it with a lot of impact. But I would like to put some few points across so that at least we know for us who are parents and we are raising young kids, and even if you are a grown up and you may hear something that could be affecting you, at least you will know it might have been something that happened to you those days. So relax and just be ready to learn, and let's get to the video. Let me just start by defining what childhood trauma could be, or what childhood trauma is. It's the adverse or those serious or those severe experiences that you undergo when you're growing up. The daily life experience that we face as children. So I will bring some examples of child trauma, for example, or like what causes child trauma. We have bullying. There are those small kids who are bullied by their peers, or even in schools. It is mostly commonly known in boarding schools or high school when one is joining Form 1. There is also children comparison. You are a parent, you want to compare your kids with the other kid. You better understand that children are different. Even yourself, you know you are different from your brother or your sister, so it's not good to compare your kids. One might be wiser than the other, but the other one might be a game person or artistic person, or he or she is most interested in co-curricular activities, and the other one is interested in books. Those are your kids. You need to understand their differences and then embrace them the way they are. Most of the times it's always bitter and painful when my brother is doing well in books, or my sister is doing well in books, and my dad is always comparing me to them, or my mom is comparing me to them. That one actually brings even children rivalry, and sometimes it even brings the trauma. You feel as a child you're not wanted, or you are not doing okay, and it may bring even personal hatred. Now that you're a kid, you don't understand too much or many things. There is also substance abuse. A substance abuse, for instance, when parents are using drugs, they are taking maybe alcohol, or they are using drugs of different kinds. Those ones may affect your kids, because sometimes they may be affected by how you react after you are high on those drugs. There's also emotional abuse. You find that you don't give your kids that emotional support that they require from you as a parent, and then they just get withdrawn emotionally, and it might bring trauma to them. We also look at parent divorce. It affects kids mostly when they are young. and one parent or the parents separate, the other parents who remains with the kid, of course they suffer working out here and there to fend for their food or fend for shelter. You find kids might be struggling within the way, and it may cause trauma in them now that they are not like the other kids. You understand, even kids might go to school, they see their friends, they are maybe having good meals, and at home maybe it's just to survive. Maybe it's ugali mboga every day, or just a plain rice, or there is no even good tea, and they find their friends are taking delicious meals, they are well provided by their parents. You see, your kids might be affected by that situation, and they might build trauma slowly. There is also sexual abuse or rape. Sometimes when kids go through harassment, if they don't share, or they are not really helped enough to be talked to be notified that they are not the fault for it to happen, or it's okay, things will be better for them, it causes trauma. And the only one thing that makes that too serious on kids is that when your kid goes through such challenges and they come to share with you as a parent, mostly because it starts in the family. You find it's your uncle or even the dad is abusing the young girl. When she comes and talks to you as the mother, you're like, your dad cannot do that, don't mention it anyway, you will just bring shame to the family. And then if that was the case, the girl child will just be silent. It will be affecting her inside, and it grows as a trauma to those kids. There is also neglect by the parent, that is rejection. You find that when you are expecting, you are not prepared for the pregnancy, and you start eating on the kid. The only thing I would like us to understand, mostly for the women, is when you just conceive the baby start forming. The baby is always getting communication from you when they are inside your womb. Remember, they are also humans and they are growing inside you. So when you are expecting, just try as much as possible to always regulate your moods. Do not bring in negative thoughts about the baby. You find there are those people who their mothers tried to abort them, they did not manage due to one reason or the other, or because God had purposed for you to be born, but you just get born with rejection feeling. It just happens unconsciously, and you just find yourself there. So, or even when the kid is born, you are not in good terms with the dad, you don't feel like supporting the baby or taking care of the baby. That rejection or that neglect may cause trauma to the kid. For example, there are those people, even today, you have your kid, you left them up country with your mother, their grandma or their grandpa. You don't take time for your kid, you don't go to have good moments with them. They are not emotionally attached to you as the parent. That one brings trauma to your kid, because they know you are their mother or you are their dad. You don't take time for them, you don't show affection for them. It brings effect to the kid because they feel unwanted, they feel unloved, and that one affects them. Even for the dad, if you have a kid somewhere, always make time for that baby, because they need you as the father. And that is what brings the growth of strong boys and girls and strong men and women in the society. When you grow with that support from parents and you are being shown love and support, you grow as a good person even in society. When that one is absent in your upbringing, it brings a trauma within you because the hatred grows in you towards the person who is not showing you affection. There is also physical abuse. You find that there are those parents who really beat their kids thoroughly, even if the kid has wronged, yes. It's not a matter of life and death. You don't have to beat them to death. Some parents even threaten their kids, I will hang you or I will kill you. And that one brings fear to the kid. It brings trauma inside them, such that even in mistake happen and it's the kid who was there, they even fear to face you as the parent to tell them, mom or dad, I did this wrong, I'm sorry. Don't misjudge me or don't mistake me like I'm saying do not punish kids when they are wrong, but it's good to punish kids with love. There are those parents who are very severe. Like for example, another case happened. The kid, this was a teenager girl. She just stole some beans from mom's sack, and she went to sell the beans. They were just they had no money, and the girl wanted some money. She feared to ask for money. Maybe I would say she had asked another time and she was not helped with the money, or she was going through some hard times with parents and she was not able to open up. But when the mom realized the girl had stolen some beans, it was tough on that girl because the mother was even burning the girl's fingers on fire. Just imagine how that heartless mother could be. She put the girl's hands on fire like, you will never steal again, you will not do this again. Yes, I don't say the girl had done too well to take the beans without mom's permission, but that was too hard for that mom to do that for the baby. So for that girl, I mean. So even as parents, as we discipline our kids, let's discipline them with love. Actually, nowadays, children are not beaten too much. When you beat them, they just get used to it, they harden the skin, and then they will be like, even if I do this, mom will just beat me and that will be done, I'll just proceed. But talk to them, let them learn this bad, this good, this wrong, this correct, and then they will live with that understanding. Yeah. So there is also abandonment. I have touched on neglect. It's mostly the same with abandonment, but this one goes to mostly dads. When you abandon a lady with your kid, that lady is struggling with raising the kid, that lady is struggling with providing, and then the kids will just feel that lack of fatherly love, and then they might tend to be bitter inside themselves, and that is what brings trauma. Even for the ladies, there are those who are abandoning their kids nowadays. No one is exceptional. Men and women are just doing what is coming in their minds. But remember, when you're doing that, you are affecting your own children as they grow up. So let us look at how to know that your child is suffering from trauma or they have trauma. As a parent or as a guardian who is raising that kid, sometimes they have difficulty in trusting. This one is going a long way even to the adults. You find you are an adult, you don't feel free even with people. You are too hard on trusting. Even if this person is a good guy or is a good person, you don't trust them. You have trust issues, if I may say. Then there are fear or low self-esteem. When a kid has trauma or when someone has grown with trauma, they tend to suppress their feelings. They do not bring their full potential. So they have so low self-esteem. They don't feel like going out with other people, like they just feel like confiding to themselves because they fear someone might notice what they are. suffering from, or what they are going through, or they fear people to know their secrets. And there's also that one is linked to self-esteem in a way, social anxiety. Just the way I have said, they feel like they don't want to belong to maybe a group or to a social gathering. They just like being just being within themselves, their space, because they always meditate all the time what they are going through or what they are feeling. That one you can even reflect it right now. Yeah, you might be just deciding to have your own space, but it's good to examine yourself. If you always feel like you don't want to be with people, just look at your upbringing and look at your journey. You might be suffering from such a problem. Maybe there is also development of new fears or sadness. You find your kid has always been happy, and then all of a sudden, sometimes they are sad. You don't know what's happening to them, or they just fear anything. You talk to them, or maybe you are just distance, and you call with a loud voice. You see them, they fear. They are just like frightened. That one shows you there is something that is within that child that they are afraid of. That one you can tell your kid is not fine, and you can talk to them to know what exactly is the problem. The other thing is they might tend to refuse school. For example, the case of bullying I was talking about. When a kid is going to this school and they are not having good time there, maybe teachers are not treating them well, or the other peoples are they are discriminating the baby, or they are bullying her or him, they might tend to refuse school. So if you find your kid, they were loving school, they were excited when it's school time, and every day you remind them, tomorrow is Monday, we are going to school, and they're like, no, I don't want to go to school. Or every day you're waking up to take them to school, they're like, I'm having headache, I am having stomachache, I don't feel like going to school. It's good to take time and talk to your kid. Other than starting beating them like you're refusing school, just talk to them. They might be suffering from something that you're not aware about as a parent. There is also attempt to suicidal thoughts. You have seen even young children. Like for example, there was a case a while ago, like some 2 years ago. A girl had completed high school. The dad was not happy with the results that she got, and then they talked to her not in a good way, and she took her life. She only wrote a note like, I'm just gone because you don't love me. You prefer my brother than me because he gets good marks in school, blah blah blah. And then she hanged herself. You see, that one was from the discrimination of kids, the one I talked about earlier. So as parents, let us always remember to embrace our kids even when they are having challenges. Let us always learn to listen to them and know what exactly is happening to them and how we can help them to solve that problem. There's also lose for interest of the activities. Maybe you find your kid has always loved to play. They love to do some artistics, drawing, and then all of a sudden they are not interested. They don't like going to play with other kids. It's good to inquire from them if everything is fine with them or if all is well with them. The other one is difficulties in sleeping. You find your kids is not interested in sleeping, or they might be oversleeping. That one is a two-way traffic. Maybe they are oversleeping too much. They just want to sleep. They don't want to be close to anyone because they fear they will be asked what's happening, or they don't want to sleep. They just feel like to stay awake because of that. a stress that they are undergoing. And the thing I want us to understand is that even kids are go through stress, even as young as, just call it when they are born, because you find even a newborn, they might cry the whole night or the whole day, and you don't know what's happening to them. Maybe something is just not okay with them, and you cannot tell. And those things that are bothering us without our capability to handle them, they are the ones we term as stress, because it's something that is making you to be uneasy. Yeah, so let us also look at impact of childhood trauma. These are the things now that come when you have already had trauma, and then it's becoming an impact. It's affecting you in one way or the other, even as you are growing up. So there is depression. When a kid goes through trauma and then that thing is not resolved, nobody has talked to them about how to handle it, it grows into stress, and thereafter it becomes depression. That's why you find some kids, they just leave home. Nobody has wronged them. Maybe even you are thinking nobody has wronged them, but inside themselves they know this person did this to me. Dad or mom or bro or uncle or my grandma or my guardian did this to me, and they are not aware, they are not doing something about it, and you find those kids just disappear. Most of them, we find them on street, and they tell you, mom and dad are just at home. I have brothers, they are at home. Why did you left? I just felt unwanted there. So the other one is mental health. We have mental health issues, because it affects even your mental. You think too much, you just want to imagine, why me, what is happening to me, and then it might affect your mentality or even your mental health. Yeah, even physical health impact. Sometimes maybe you are beaten or you are burnt. For the case of the girl I was giving an example with, maybe your fingers were affected, or even other people are so mad or they become so sad at once, and then maybe they throw something to you, your head might be injured or your leg might be injured, and that way is a scar that will remain in your life. When you see the scar and you remember what happened, it brings sadness in you, and that is a physical impact, because you can just see the scar, or you can just see it. There's also a relationship impact. For example, your parents were not showing you love, or you did not grow up with that embrace from the parents, and then you as a girl, you don't want to see a man, or you just feel like they will be just as your dad, or you don't want to see someone talking to you like they love you, because you saw your parents divorce and you thought they were loving each other. Even domestic violence from parents might bring you relationship impact, because you remember how your mom or your dad was being abused, and you are like, I don't want to get into a relationship. What happened to my mom or dad might happen to me. There is also even low self-esteem is also a big impact or childhood trauma. Yeah, so there's also emotional distress. Emotional distress is your emotions are detached. You just there, you don't know what to do. You just there, you don't feel like involving yourself with people, or you just feel emotionally drained. Yeah, there's also increased risk of self-harm. You might feel like harming yourself. Those are the cases of suicidal thoughts, the cases of people taking their own life, maybe taking chemicals for them to die, or people hanging themselves. There is also a risk of engaging in high risk behaviors, Like you find the children who grew up detached, they feel like they can do anything bad to calm the situation. You find when people are depressed, they sometimes they tend to cut themselves. They tend to do anything because they feel like nobody cares, so they don't even care. And you find them doing too much or extreme that anyone might think of. There is also lack of impulse control. You feel like, why do I have even to care? If nobody cares, I also don't care. There is nothing I need to do about this situation. I'm just there, I'm just living. There's also inability to plan ahead or planning for future, because you're like, why do I even have to plan for this future? Do I even have future anyway? So those are some of the impact that really affect people who have gone through a childhood trauma. That is, even when you want to have anything, you want to grow for yourself, you are always like, I don't think this one can do. And even self-doubt. Sometimes you find even when your parents are comparing with you with your siblings, or when even teachers in school, they tell you you cannot amount to anything, you are just nothing. You feel like when you start thinking of to venture into something new, you are like, will I even be able to? Or even you look back to your background and you're like, even if I start this one, nobody in my family has ever done this, or even, and they have never succeeded. And so you just sit at your comfort zone with your condition, and you're like, let life just flow. Whatever will happen will happen. Yeah, so that is all I can say about the trauma part of it. And what I can encourage parents: please, parents, raise your kids with purpose. When you purpose to give birth, or when you purpose to bring a soul into this world, have them in your mind, have them in your future. Take care of them until they mature, until they get to that age of 18 years, and they at least can be able to make sound decision for themselves. Because many parents have neglected their responsibility. They just leave kids to school, and they now leave the kids to the teachers, or they leave the kids to the nannies. You find as a parent, your kid comes home with homework, you don't even check the homework they were given. It's the auntie who will help the kid to do homework. Even sometimes you might forget to sign the diary, so you might not know the progress of your kid. And when you are present in your kids' life as they are growing, then you really understand what the changes that they are going through, especially for the teenagers. That is the right time that as a parent you only need to be with your children or your young adults most, because that is when they want to explore life. That is when they want to learn new things in life. If you're not there as an adult to give them sound advice on how they need to make a good decision for themselves, or on how they need to face life, you might find them making wrong decision that might affect their future. So thank you guys. I'll be talking more on this one in a different video. Let me not do a very long one. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something. I hope this topic will bring impact to the parents who are growing up young children, or even you as a child. If you watch this video, because I know nowadays everyone is digital, even 5-10 years or 15 years old, or on YouTube, you can watch and learn something. If even you as a kid, you are facing any challenge, or you are undergoing problems even in school, or through your uncles or aunts or anybody, just be free to talk to your parents. As I have advised the parents, let us always give our kids that room for them to feel safe in our presence. Let us give them reason to be open to us. When you are parent and you have given your kid a platform to speak or pour themselves out to you whenever they are having challenges, your kids will never struggle. Your kids will never go astray because they will be coming to you when something is happening. Sometimes you find as a parent, your kid comes and they are vulnerable to you, like, mom or dad, I was beaten by my friend, or then as a parent you are not even listening to your kid. You just shout to them, go and beat them, revenge for yourself. Then you just kill the hope for that kid on you as a parent, like that support they thought they will have from you as mom or dad, that imagination that they feel they are secure with you. Yeah, I'm not saying you just don't teach your kids to learn how to face situations outside here, but sometimes it's good to listen to them. Maybe it's something that was severe, and when they don't feel safe to you, when they share with you or they report something to you, and you don't follow it up or you don't listen to it keenly, sometimes it might hinder them to be opening up to you when they face challenge. Sometimes it's even teacher is beating them up in school without good reasons, or the teacher is not marking for them, or is not doing teachings to them well, maybe discrimination, and they're like, mom, teacher so and so did this, and you're like, go and learn, you don't want to study, you don't want to go to school. And maybe that kid is going through some challenges, but you as a parent you're not listening to them. That one will make your kids take a barrier from you, or keep a barrier from you, or keep a distance from you. They will not be sharing to you again, since they know even when they share to you, you will not do anything to help the situation. So I know it's a tough one, or it's such maybe challenging at some point, because we want to go out, we want to fend for them, and then we still want to have time to support them. It's all our responsibilities. When we plan ourselves accordingly, we'll be able to make some time for the kids, even for the family outings, even for the family times together, and even for checking up on their progress as you work on to provide for them. So thank you so much. I hope we have learned a lot, and this one will bring some impact into our lives and the lives of those people who are around us, more so our kids. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Thank you for your tremendous support. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. Actually, I'm just taking your notes. I'll just be addressing them as we proceed.